more world news from RT. It's rumoured that President Obama will use his powers of persuasion to sway the British people to vote against leaving the EU during his visit next month. And it's something that's angered this man, the unofficial leader of the Leave campaign. He's already hit back. London Mayor Boris Johnson called it a piece of outrageous and exorbitant hypocrisy. Here's what Londoners have been telling us, though, about Washington's potential involvement in the Stay campaign.
The US president is coming to the UK in April to try to convince the British people to stay within the European Union. Let's find out if his opinions are welcome here.
It's none of his business and we shouldn't be staying. We should be out.
The US president is coming to the UK to try to convince the British people to stay within the European Union. Do you think he should be getting involved with this issue?
No.
Do you think if any other leader went to another country and said, guys, this is what you should do and not the other thing, do you think people would cry out?
Well, it's a very American thing to do, isn't it? To come over and kind of impose what you think is the right way on other people's.
Well, it's probably good for the stay-in campaign, but yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's a family affair. Yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
You have one foot in the European Union and one foot in America.
He's interfering in other people's matters. It's not his business.
And what would you think would happen if, for example, Putin went to Ukraine and said, guys, don't have closer ties with the European Union? Don't you think people would be outraged? So why is this being allowed?
He shouldn't do it either. It's as simple as that.
Do you think would happen if Putin, for example, went to Ukraine and tried to convince it to not have closer ties with the EU?
I don't know much about Mr. Putin. I'm sure he's a lovely chap. He does a lot of working out in the gym, I gather. Bye.
The referendum is just a couple of months away, and with opinion polls very close, Barack Obama coming here could end up backfiring for David Cameron, who wants to stay within the European Union, because people so far are saying the American president doesn't really have to have a say in this. Anastasia Churkina, RT, London.
And as the clock ticks towards June's Brexit vote, there are still many undecided minds, as Polly Boyker's been finding out.
100 more days of this.
I believe Britain will be stronger in a reformed Europe.
Versus this.
It's time to burst loose of all those regulations, get out into a world that is changing and growing.
All against the backdrop of this.
We don't have a plan B, we have a plan A. Britain will stay in the European Union as a constructive and active member.
For David Cameron, the next 100 days could be the most worrying of his career.
Opinion polls on Brexit have been neck and neck, but even if the campaign to stay takes a significant lead, the Prime Minister will still have reason to worry.
Now the UK's leading party is in civil war over Europe. The majority of David Cameron's own MPs are expected to defy their leader and back Brexit.
We're unimpressed by his deal. I think for many years, people who were concerned about the European Union, concerned about the migration, things like this, they were sort of told, your opinion is not respectable. You know, you ought to maybe keep that to yourself. You know, you're not intelligent, you're not cultured, this and that. But people have much more faith, I think, in their beliefs.
So with the stakes running high and the polls unreliable, I've decided to put in the legwork myself and survey some of the British nation about which way they'll vote.
I should be voting to leave. I plan for us to stay in.
Voting to stay.
And what are your reasons?
I work in business and I understand the practicalities that if we were to leave it would have huge consequences for our economy.
Made up your mind yet? How will you vote?
No.
Is it because you haven't been convinced?
I haven't given it much thought at the moment, but I will.
Ultimately, it's these undecided voters who will determine whether Britain stays or goes. And with big characters like the Mayor of London ratcheting up the arguments for leaving, over the next 100 days, David Cameron has his work cut out. Polly Boyko, RT, London.